Patriots, populists, we have just won a major, major, major victory. And it is all down to the fact that a lot of us are beginning to realize that we have nothing to lose and everything to gain, and the other side has everything to lose and nothing more to gain. And number two, the fact that God is on our side. Doesn't matter about how much guns, bullets, jails, police, weaponry, all that sort of stuff that the government has. The fact that God is on our side means that everything, if we stay disciplined and focused on our civil disobedience, things will work itself out. Doug, the domesticated house slave Ford, who should have been the one who died instead of his brother Rob, has backed down on his new China virus restrictions. He has backed down. And this comes after pushback from medical experts, police, and we the people. Even the cops are now coming on our side. And it's funny, I was just going to make a video. I was just going to upload a video as I speak, a video which I pre-recorded. And I usually pre-record all my videos and then upload them when I have a chance. And the video was a message to the police service, the patriots within the police service, and how to get around this illegal, evil lockdown measure, which essentially turns us into totalitarian Cuba, where you can't travel within the country. And the police can just stop people on the street, stop people in the cars. You know, it's basically carding, which is illegal in Ontario, carding. And I stated, patriots within the police force, don't obey this. Pretend like you don't. If you see someone riding a bicycle or walking the streets, pretend you don't see them. I understand what you are going through, and I know that there's been a lot of harsh words projected your way, even from me, which is out of anger. But people have to know that there are patriots within the police force. They are caught between a rock and a hard place. They have their wife, they have their children, and Doug, the domesticated house slave Ford, who has never worn a military uniform, who has never worn a police uniform, who has never fought in any battle, who has never gone to walk the beat on any street, who has never done anything to serve his country in a physical sense. He's now trying to get all these police officers to do this, that, and the third, stopping random people on the street who are trying to, enjoy their life and all kind of stuff, and just arrest random people. Just this, and the police don't like. A lot of them don't like this. That's why I say don't harm the police. Don't do these things, because they are caught between a rock and a hard place. But this that Doug Ford has done was a step too far for them. And I say all the police sergeants and commanders and all those who said to Doug Ford, we are not going to obey this. I want to say that the Arana Nation salutes you 100%. We salute you. We salute you. You are patriots. You guys, we can go with or without people on the inside, but it's a hell of a lot easier to fight to go through a revolution when we've got people on the inside who are supporting us. I want to share this article, and it states that Ontario retracts, they say COVID-19, I say China virus, restrictions after criticism from medical experts and police. Now, originally, police may be able to interrogate anyone, anytime, anywhere with these new China virus powers. Not anymore. After intense backlash, Doug Ford's government, Doug, the domesticated house slave Ford, who should have been the one who died of cancer instead of his brother, his government on Saturday retracted some of the China virus measures that he announced for Ontario a day earlier. And by the way, again, when I say China virus, I'm not referring to Chinese people. I'm referring to the origin of the virus, number one, because every virus which has ever been here on man, they've always referred to it as the virus where it came from, Spanish flu and all this stuff. And also because the Communist Chinese Party, they hid a lot of the information and let this thing spiral out of control. But I'm not going to explain myself anymore. You all know what I'm talking about. Along with allowing playgrounds to now remain open, Ontario is walking back the increased powers it gave to police. Solicitor General Sylvia Jones, that fool, says police won't be allowed anymore to stop any pedestrian or driver to ask for their home address and reason for being out of their residence. Police will only be allowed to ask people for that information if they believe they're participating in an organized public event or social gathering. The change comes after backlash from medical professionals, residents, and police services across Ontario who said they won't comply with these new powers. I salute these guys. I want to know who these guys are. I think this link will say it. Now, again, it says here police will only be allowed to ask these people if they believe they're participating in organized public. As I said, all you do, first of all, I don't think a lot of these police are going to go through with this. Knock on wood. We can't relax just yet. We can't relax just yet because that when we relax, that's when they come in and swipe on us. We still have to remain vigilant until this is over. This is a war we are fighting, and I'm determined to win it, come hell or high water. And I will. I will. Trust me. And we're winning right now. Look at Doug, that stinking, look at him. Look at that stinking pile of nothing. He should be the one dead instead of his brother, his honorable brother. Yeah, he was a crackhead and all that. I'd rather a crackhead than a shithead. Look at him. Look at that dog. Makes me sick looking at him. I don't even want to look at him. Let's see if it will show us the police who stood up against him. I want to see. I know the Durham Regional Police Chief said that it was not going to stand for this. Canadian Civil Liberties Association, a former Liberal Attorney General in Ontario. Let's see. Okay. Well, Tory, he made some sort of comment, but I don't trust him either. That chicken neck Tory, don't trust him either. Don't trust him. He's no good. Guelph Mayor Cam Guthrie said she this is not right. It doesn't, the Charter of Rights and Freedoms I told you guys this. This is carding, and it's worse than carding. This is completely illegal. Completely illegal. It can't be done. You see, that video that I was going to make about these new powers, I said, Black folk, Indigenous folk, these are the ones, I mean, that's the reason they got rid of carding, because they thought that the police will just use this as an excuse to harass Black and Indigenous and poor white folk. Look, people don't mention that white folk are also victims of this stuff too, you know. This isn't just Black and Indigenous. You've got poor white people who bum around on places like Barton Street in Hamilton. I used to live in Hamilton. You got poor white folk. I've seen police harass them just as much as any nigger on the street. I'm telling you, I'm not saying police as a whole, because as we can clearly see, there are patriots within the various police forces, and I urge them to continue to stick to their guns and say, no, we're not doing this. The president of the Peel Regional Police Association, Don't make cops the bad guys here. You see? You see it in a subsequent statement, Peel Regional Police confirmed it would not conduct random vehicle or individual stops. Police in the Ontario municipalities of Toronto, Hamilton, Peterborough, London, Waterloo, Niagara, Ottawa, York, Windsor, and Cornwall all had similar statements. There was no specific mention of a change to policing by the OPP, which has been tasked with enforcing interprovincial border closures. So here's what I want people to do. I want people to thank these police chiefs, these police people in Toronto, Hamilton, Peterborough, London, Waterloo, Niagara, Ottawa. I think we need to do that because, as the statement said, Doug, the domesticated house slave Ford, that coward who has never fought in any war, he's never worn a military uniform or a police uniform. He is trying to make the police the bad guys here. He is using the police to just run all over the place and do all sorts of different things and making criminals out of more and more and more people. And unfortunately, it's the police who get turned into the bad guys here. And, you know, we're guilty of it. I mean, but here, you see, here's the thing. It's not that I'm even necessarily regretting some of the things I've said in anger, but you have to understand that the police, they are a tool of the new world order, which is in charge of the government. And so a lot of these guys, you know, they've got their wives and their children. And if they don't obey these orders, they get thrown into the street, forced to shine shoes, if that, forced to eat rats on the street because Doug, the domesticated house slave Ford, will fire them and make them starve and their children starve and become emaciated on the streets of Toronto if they don't follow the orders. They'll lose their jobs and their children will die of hunger somewhere under some bridge somewhere, or, you know, in some alley somewhere in Hamilton, Toronto, Kitchener, London, Cornwall, Sudbury, Oshawa, Niagara Falls. You see? But this was a step too far. And the police have had a tough time. And I feel that a lot of the police who know that this is BS, but didn't want to step up, maybe needed a reality check to show, look, we are the ones who are on your side, you know, but we aren't going to just sit by and allow you to abuse us on behalf of the government. And these police chiefs here in these various towns that I've mentioned said, no, enough is enough. My boys, my women, men are they are running ragged over here. We've got rapists and criminals and drug dealers and all sorts of stuff, and you're just making us just go after these China virus restrictions and, you know, stopping random people on the street. This is wrong. This is wrong. This is wrong. Especially coming from a premier who has never fought in any battle in his life. He's a chicken hawk, as Jesse Ventura used to say. Somebody who, you know, is always ready to use police officers and soldiers to kick ass all over the place, but when it was their time to serve, they didn't do jack shit. So I want people to thank their local law enforcement in the places that I mentioned. Again, let's look at this again. Let's see so Toronto, Hamilton, Peterborough, London, Waterloo, Niagara, Ottawa, York Region, Windsor, and Cornwall, and Peel. They said, no, Doug Ford can kiss our ass. We're not enforcing this. This is wrong. This is wrong. It is wrong to just randomly stop people and harass them on the streets of Toronto, the streets of Hamilton, the streets of Whitby, the streets of Sudbury, the streets of Cambridge, Windsor, Peterborough, it's wrong to do that. To ask them where they're going. This is what they do in Cuba or North Korea. This is a step too far. This is not what I signed up for. And I salute these guys. I salute them for standing up to Doug, the domesticated house slave forward. And this is a lesson that we can get what we want if we ask. We have to stand up and demand it. We have to demand it. Don't be afraid of these people, because they can lock us all up. They can kill us all. But in the end, they'll still lose. Now, all those police chiefs, can you imagine if Doug Ford decided, well, he has no choice but to walk with these orders. He has no choice but to do that. What's he going to do? Arrest every single one of those police officers in Toronto, and the whole province will descend into chaos. Is he going to arrest every single one of those police officers now? Is he going to send horses after them like he did to me and Adams? Is he going to put bags over their head and drag them to jail? He's asking for a coup d'etat or a junta, military junta. And you know something? I'm encouraging that. Like they do over in Argentina or in one of them South American countries. You know what happens? When the leader in those South American nations gets too big for his boots and he starts running the military ragged and demoralizing them, they start a junta, they start a coup d'etat, then they remove and chop his head off in the public square. And you know, I mean, listen, I said the police will do what they'll do. I don't think it's going to get that far. But Doug Ford knows. So we're winning. We are winning. This is a virus which kills less than 1% of people who get it. Less than 1% of people who get it. Sweden never had a lockdown. Japan never had a lockdown. Their populations their virus rates are going down. It's only we stupid Ontarians and Canucks our numbers are going up. And even with the numbers going up, it's still less than 1% of people who get it end up dying. This is not necessary, this whole people lockdown, to the point now where we have police now going to stop people in the streets and stuff like that. Even liberals are now beginning to support us. You've seen it, the liberals and mayors and all these up there, even now they're big. Listen here. God is on our side. God is on our side. And we have to continue to stay firm. Don't worry about getting a ticket. Don't worry about getting locked up. Don't worry about those. Endure the little uncomfort and good will come in the end. Jesus was crucified. He endured that uncomfort for us to live with God's blessing and all that stuff. He did that. He endured that. The least we can do is endure a little uncomfort for ourselves. And I think that's what we need to do. So I'm going to be calling police chief or whatever of Durham region. I'm going to say thank you. Thank you for standing up for us and standing up to Doug, the domesticated house slave Ford. Thank you. And remember, don't be afraid to lie to them. If you get stopped and say, oh, what are you doing? Listen, now they can't ask you your address. Say, I'm doing Uber. Am I free to go? Yes, that's it. Don't give them any more information than that. In fact, they shouldn't even be asking that. That's called carding. It's illegal. Let them give you a ticket, not because you hate them, but because you have to, you get the ticket and then you fight it. It's against the Charter of Rights. Anyway, I've inflicted myself on you long enough. I just had to break that news. I'm as happy as a clam right now. I'm showing you all we're winning. We have to continue to stay firm. And this is the